EVGA recently released the Z15 keyboard, and seeing that they're new to the space, does their product even compete with the rest? Let's see if this keyboard is a flop or not. Coming in with a brushed aluminum top plate, dedicated media keys, a scroll wheel, hot swappable CAL sockets, and full per key RGB lighting offers quite the value proposition. Upon opening the box, you see that you do get this keyboard, and it's a little big. It's a full-size board. You don't see many of that on this channel. You also get a plastic keycap puller. You got a switch puller that's made of metal, and you have a detachable magnetic wrist rest. My first impressions of the EVGA Z15 is that, wow, that branding is really big. In fact, it's ginormous. And you know, bigger is not always better when it comes to this kind of stuff. The branding itself takes up such a big chunk on the keyboard here, and it looks like they just slapped that on there without a second thought. And with a non-detachable cable, things aren't looking so hot right out of the gate. At this point, I'm starting to lean towards that it's a flop. The keycap puller and the switch puller are honestly underwhelming. With the switch puller, I can barely remove a switch without getting carpal tunnel, and the keycap puller is most likely going to scratch up these keycaps. The extra switches are definitely a nice touch if you want to swap out your gaming keys such as WASD, or maybe even your bigger keys such as spacebar and backspace. The keycaps seem to have a really dated gamer font, and they honestly remind me of my very first mechanical keyboard, the 2013 Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition. These keycaps are also ABS plastic. They're very likely to get that nasty grime and shine over time. The legends are illuminated, and the sub-legends are super easy to read. But first impressions aside, there are some really exciting aspects to this board that I can't wait to dive deeper into. For starters, this keyboard has hot swappable switches. Yeah, you heard that right. I said it. Hot swappable switches coming from an EVGA board. For the past few months, I've literally been telling everybody hot swap is what the people want, it's what we want, it's what we need. This has 3-pin hot swappable sockets and can fit pretty much all of the basic enthusiast switches. However, you might have to clip a few plastic legs if you are bent on putting in some 5-pin switches in there. We got the Z15 with CAL speed bronze switches, and these are the cleanest clicks you will ever listen to, because I don't care what you say. I don't care if you want me to use box whites or box shades or box navies. No, it's about CAL speed bronzes. These are clean. You hear that? Clean clicks. All right, sound test good. That was the cleanest clicks of all time. Drop that mic. We're good. Back to the video. Alright, while I'm not a gamer, the 4000 Hz pulling rate will definitely be an appealing point to competitive gamers out there. Instead of the standard report rate of 1 millisecond, you'll then drop that down to 0.25 milliseconds. Now, at the time of this video, the 4000 Hz pulling rate can pretty much only be found on Corsair's flagship keyboard, the K100, and that one has a whopping expensive price tag, but it's now accessible for a much lower price point on the EVGA Z15. The software, while a little bit clunky to use and find, is actually really comprehensive. You can remap different layers of RGB lighting, set macros, and remap keys really easily. The media keys on the very top right of the keyboard, along with the scroll wheel, are pretty satisfying and convenient to use. The scroll wheel is horizontal, it's super smooth with no tactility, and the buttons are clicky and shallow with a rubbery top. They're pretty satisfying to use. With the onboard firmware, you can turn on gaming mode with FN and G to lock your Windows key, so if you're pressing Control a lot, you don't have to worry about accidentally pressing Windows 2. On top of the arrow keys, you also have a few indicator lights. You've got caps lock, num lock, scroll lock, and Windows lock. Another cool feature is when you press FN, another layer will light up with the keys that you can pair with it rather than you just guessing in your mind, being like,
okay, what does FN pair with? Like, what if I press the wrong one and something funky happens?
Now that's a super cool and convenient feature that I would love to see across other keyboards everywhere. You can change between a 6-key rollover and N-key rollover, but honestly I don't see why you would do that. I just keep that in N-key rollover all the time, but if you do want to change, you can press FN and F12. So, is this keyboard a flop? No, it's not. You get some amazing features at this price point. It's basically unheard of. The hot swap switches and sockets is something that most companies should catch onto, but they just haven't for some reason. The 4000 Hz polling rate is something that can pretty much be found on only a $200 30 keyboard, and this is selling for $100 less than that. For the first shot at mechanical keyboards, EVGA really proved that they're serious and they're a force to be reckoned with. With that being said, the Z15 in its current status, it could use a little bit of work. The branding on the top is absolutely atrocious. It's way too big. And the keycap legends, they're just super outdated and not really sleek or clean. With companies like EVGA and Asus entering the market, I expect that the number of gaming mechanical keyboards out there will absolutely skyrocket in the coming year. Razer, Corsair, and Logitech better stay at the top of their game if they want to remain competitive. You can find the EVGA Z15 on Amazon by clicking the Genius links down below. It will localize to your country, so you don't need to spend a ton of time searching around. As always, if you want a quick glance of a keyboard and an easily digestible format, check out our website at switchandclick.com. This logo though, what am I gonna do with this logo? Can I just tear it off? Nope. Okay, no, there's no saving it. No. Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?